It was confirmed that Taylor Swift and her boyfriend of 6 years, actor Joe Alwyn, broke up. News outlets like People magazine and Page Six reported that their relationship ended on good terms and that there was no bad blood between them. However, it seems that that might not have been the full story. The news first broke about a week ago, while Taylor is still on her Eras tour, and a lot of fans thought that maybe some of the differences that she made to her performance was something she did to hint about the breakup. Taylor switched one of the songs that she famously wrote for Joe Alwyn for a different song and also burned the Lover House in her performance.
You guys, I'm losing my mind. Was Taylor burning down the Lover House at the Eras tour her way of telling us that her and Joe split? And taking Invisible String off the set list? The layers to this.
Okay, I completely think that this is right. I have looked up every single Swiftie analysis of the Lover House burning down, and not a single one of it makes sense. But this is called the Lover House, and let's say that the Lover album is all about Joe Alwyn. Midnights, she's holding a lighter. This is the photo on the cover of Midnights. Joe likes lighters, Taylor has a lighter. The Lover House is named after the album that is all about that man. She took his lighter and burned it the hell down.
The thing about Taylor Swift is that she has a very loyal fan base. So when these news dropped, people were heartbroken for Taylor. Fans were really invested in this relationship working out, especially because of everything she went through in the past with Jake Gyllenhaal, and people really wanted her to have a really good relationship. And a while back, it was even rumored that they got married in secret. And it's true that Hollywood relationships are not known for their stability, but I think people really wanted this to work out for Taylor and Joe. And so when the news dropped, fans were in disbelief and shock. And a lot of people are still hoping that this might not be true, but unfortunately it is. And as for the reason for the breakup, that's where the tea is. So the news outlets who reported about the breakup, like People magazine and Page Six, reported to have heard from an insider that Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn broke up because of, quote, differences in their personalities. People magazine wrote, they've had rough patches before and always worked things out. So friends thought they would take some time apart, but eventually come back together, says the source, noting that ultimately Swift and Alwyn weren't the right fit for one another. Reps for Swift and Alwyn have not commented on the breakup. The Lavender Haze musician was first publicly linked to the British actor in May of 2017, when it was revealed that the pair had been quietly dating for months. They had plenty in common and fell in love in a safe bubble while she was retreating from the world during Reputation, adds the source, referring to Swift's 2017 studio album. Then the pandemic hit and they were locked down together and able to continue to grow the relationship in this insulated way, but he didn't really know her yet outside of that bubble. Joe has struggled with Taylor's level of fame and attention from the public, says the source. The differences in their personalities have also become harder to ignore after years together. According to multiple sources, Swift and Alwyn had been talking about marriage as recently as a few months ago, but at the end of the day, the couple wasn't ready for a future together. Taylor didn't see them working out in the long run, says the insider, who adds that the split happened recently and was not dramatic. They are friendly and she doesn't have anything bad to say about Joe. They just grew apart. Page Six also wrote, we hear that the breakup happened a few weeks ago and that there is no bad blood between the exes. It wasn't dramatic, says the source. The relationship just ran its course. However, after this whole thing was posted and it was said that they broke up but are on good terms, De Moi, which is a celebrity gossip account, posted a message they got from somebody who is close to the situation and who said this.
This is a message. This is from a source. They say the sense I get is that Joe's been getting more and more withdrawn leading up to the start of the tour and the start of him going off to film. It's been bumpy in the lead up to the tour. So then Taylor sort of brought it to a head and was like, do we need to address this? And he was like, why don't we just take a break and call this tour a chance for a breather and to reassess, and we'll see where things stand at the end of it. And she was fine with it. Though honestly, I think she thought he'd miss her like crazy and they'd be back together again eventually. Instead, he not only seemed okay with the distance and space, but she absolutely thinks he's the one who leaked the news.
Something to note is that when major news outlets have the same quote in them, it often means that they got the news from the same source. And because People magazine was linked to Taylor Swift, it's likely that this statement came from someone in hers or Joe Alwyn's team, especially because the actual breakup happened a few weeks prior to that announcement. It is likely that since the relationship ended, they wanted the breakup to be mess-free for the fans, and that the newsletters got the PR version of the breakup announcement. And so it's possible that Demois's source is someone who is close to the situation, but it's not their job to give PR statements. What Demois's source is basically saying is that Joe Alwyn is the one who actually wanted to break up, but he didn't bring it up. He more just gave Taylor the cold shoulder until she finally asked if there was something they needed to talk about. And then he said that maybe they should go on a break. But while they were on a break and she was off on tour, he leaked the information that the relationship was over, basically finalizing the end of the relationship without ever mentioning it to Taylor. And if that is true, then that is crazy. Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn were always very private in their relationship, but to think that this was something that could happen in their relationship is insane. And if that is true, then that must have been so disheartening for Taylor to be off on her tour only to find out that her relationship just ended suddenly without really having a chance to really talk about it. So what do you guys think? Do you think there is a chance that this is true? Do you think that there could be something way more shady about the end of the relationship, even though the newspaper said that there was nothing dramatic about the way that this relationship ended? Leave me a comment. I would love to know your opinion, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys!